What's going on, everyone? Mike Kadlick, Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media on the practice fields outside of Gillette Stadium as the Patriots just wrapped up day 12 of their 2024 training camp, the first after their 17-3 win against the Panthers on Thursday night. A reminder, we are powered by Game Time and Prize Picks. Head over to Game Time, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase, and at Prize Picks, use code CLNS for a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100. Terms apply at both places. Day 12, as we always do, we're going to do the quarterbacks. We're going to start with the quarterbacks. Because I thought today was Jacoby Brissett's best day of training camp. I think there was really only one iffy throw that I saw from him. We talked about it before. It was a play along the sideline where Christian Gonzalez almost undercut it for an interception. Yeah. Besides that, I thought he was awesome. He showed that command of the offense that, I mean, he should show because he's worked with Alex Van Pelt before, but I really thought that today he was decisive in his throws. There wasn't much confusion on the offensive side of the football. He was really, snap the ball, go to where it's going, and there was one 7-on-7 drive where he diced up the Patriots and their zone defense. So I thought he was really good. There was a seam throw to Hooper. There was that one-on-one to Jalen Reagor, which I thought the ball hit the clouds. I thought Joe Milton threw it, but it was perfect, like right, in the bread basket to him. There was the Osborne touchdown in 11-on-11 red zone, where they ran like a flood concept to the right side of the end zone. Javon Baker was actually covered up by Matthew Judon in coverage. Yeah. So, Brissett comes off of it and throws it to Osborne for a touchdown with Gonzalez in coverage. So, again, overall, I thought their number one quarterback was awesome today. Drake Maye, I'll let you cover Drake Maye, but I thought he was, again, up and down, but I thought this was probably one of his better practices as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. Again, Jacoby Brissett, really good day for him. Feels like both of the quarterbacks are starting to stack pretty positive days.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Even when Jacoby is not, really on the money and on point in terms of his accuracy, you can still see all the positives. Drake Maye, you want to just see the consistent production. I thought today, honestly, there were a lot of short passes, a lot of underneath stuff, but the accuracy, the mechanics, we agreed. He looks like he's getting better in each of these practices. We actually heard from Alex Van Pelt. He was talking to fans before practice, and he mentioned that Drake Maye, the accuracy and the mechanics are better. He's getting through his progressions really quickly, saying he gets to 2 to 3 really fast, and you see it out there. There were times today where it looked like Drake Maye wanted to air it out, which he's mentioned in previous practices that he has wanted to do because he's mostly been throwing underneath. It didn't seem like there were opportunities there, and he still just took what the defense gave him. And as spectators, as people who were like, no, go down the field, I want to see you hit the honey hole, and I want to see you, challenge some of this one-on-one coverage. I also am not going to get mad at a quarterback who's giving what the defense is giving up. So while there weren't a ton of fireworks, Drake Maye did, though. I'll say his best route this entire summer has been corner routes. For sure. He has been throwing those with anticipation, throwing them on the money. He had a good throw to Wilcox that Wilcox couldn't bring in. Another one to Michael Petway. So the chemistry he's got with really any receiver he throws to on those corner routes has been pretty good. So I think the only Drake Maye pass that I was a little dicey on was one play where none of his options were open. He started to scramble up the middle, then saw a little bit of an opening and tried to sidearm a throw, but it actually ended up getting tipped. I think it was intended for Jaheim Bell. Tipped in the air, got intercepted, which was a theme. Both of the quarterbacks had an issue with tip balls that either were or nearly intercepted, but it was kind of the Drake Maye story where sometimes he makes those off-schedule plays and they don't work out. Then he tried almost the exact same thing just a few plays later, and he wound up actually making it happen and completing a pass over the middle to Mitchell Wilcox. Also thought he had his best end-of-half series. Usually that's been an area where he struggled, and you can really see the difference between Drake and Jacoby in their ability to command the offense and keep things on schedule. Drake took everything that was underneath, check down, underneath throw, whatever, but it wound up getting the offense into field goal range. Also, Demario Douglas, very popular target here at practice. So, again, in terms of progress, Drake Maye, I feel like every day is showing you those little incremental areas of growth that you want to see from a young quarterback.
Two things I want to kind of add and, say about Drake Maye, adding on to what you just said, where taking what the defense was giving him 100%, and we noticed when we were charting me, you, and Brian Hines, his only real incompletions were throwaways. Where
a lot of throwaways.
He was hitting everything underneath, but he's not necessarily trying to put the ball in harm's way and going downfield as much. So, again, taking what the defense gives him. But that's also kind of the Drake Maye special and what you love about Drake Maye, where, the throw to Bell that gets tipped up and then almost intercepted by Del Pettis, who, by the way, continues to have a really good camp. Right place, right time for the safety. But then, a couple series, drives, whatever it was later, he makes the same throw, basically. It looks like a mirror image to Jacob Warren this time, and he completes it for a gain.
Warren, that's who it was,
So he's... Yes, he's going to make those plays. He's going to take those chances. Sometimes they're not going to work out. It kind of reminds me, and, I don't want to do comparisons, but early Josh Allen, where he would make some boneheaded plays, boneheaded mistakes. It's like, why did you throw the football there? And he had to learn what the NFL was, what the NFL speed was, and now he makes more calculated, I guess, risks, if you will. And I think Drake Maye's going to learn that as well.
I will say, I do think Drake is walking into the league as someone who takes. I think the calculated risks are fair. I think when he does take a lot of those chances, there is good thought behind them, and the intention is right. Sometimes they don't go in his favor, but I will say Josh Allen, it felt like, walked into the league, and his decision-making was just, it really needed to catch up. He
didn't have decision-making.
Yeah, like it was just some really boneheaded mistakes. I don't think Drake Maye does that quite as much. And again, you're seeing that. He's not always playing against first-string defenses, but they mix personnel groupings a lot. So there are times where you'll have Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar in the back half, and you really don't want to put the ball in a place where those playmakers can do something with them. So yeah, again, not all the, really splashy stuff that you want to see from Drake Maye, but it is nice that for a rookie who doesn't have the same leash as Jacoby Brissett, where he's like, yeah, I can be like, fading away and try a deep ball. If it doesn't work, whatever. Like everybody knows what my NFL tape is. You don't have that with Drake Maye, so I give him a little bit more of a pass for not taking some of those shots.
A couple housekeeping items here from day 12 of Patriots camp. The first offensive line, same as what we saw in Thursday's game. Vidarian Lowe stays on the left side. Chooks Okorafor back at practice for the first time in some time. He played in the game, obviously, but comes out here again as well at the right tackle spot. What did you see from them? I thought they were more consistent today than they had been the last couple weeks.
Yeah, another one also, Pop Douglas, no longer in his red non-contact jersey. Actually kept it off this time because once he actually tried to get a fast one on the coaching staff, take it off at the beginning of practice and put it back on today, fully shed it. But yeah, that offensive line, I think they continue to look good. Now, obviously, Vidarian Lowe as your starter is not ideal. Chooks is not a superstar on the right side, but he's solid. And this interior, I think, with City, David Andrews, and Mike Nwenu, I think has the potential to be one of the better, not best, but one of the better interior offensive lines in the NFL. So I think when this group is at full strength like we saw today, I think you're working with, at least a quality unit that can move the ball. And with the ground game, we saw, because there were those injuries and you didn't have Chooks in the past few practices, you did see them take a step back. But today, there weren't the same explosive plays that we saw in the first couple padded practices, but you didn't see as many stuffs like we saw in some of the more recent padded days. Today really was more back and forth and competitive. Felt like Jacoby Brissett had a good amount of time back there. Second offensive line wasn't great, but that's kind of to be expected, but not nearly as bad as we've seen from that group in some other practices.
For sure. Two more notes and potential injuries just to keep your eyes on. One, Hunter Henry comes out here, participates in practice, then ends up going to the medical shed, which I think you can see behind us in this shot. He was getting some work done and ended up leaving practice and did not return, so Austin Hooper took over the tight end one role. And then Tyquan Thornton, we'll talk about him. We'll always talk about him in his injury. He told us last week, dealing with a soft tissue injury. He played in Thursday night's game against the Panthers, comes out here and is still being eased in, or I guess eased in, eased out of said injury that he told us about. He was a participant in some drills, did not participate in the first set of 11-on-11s, and then came back and was a participant and actually caught the first two passes on the drive from Jacoby Brissett. So again, an up and down prognosis on Tyquan Thornton, but I think when he's out here, he looks a lot better than he has in years past.
And I was saying, one-on-ones, there was one play where he ran a corner and kind of got smothered, but besides that, he was getting consistent separation in those one-on-one matchups, and I had Tyquan Thornton on injured reserve in my roster projection. I hope he proves me wrong, because it gives me no pleasure to just assume that Tyquan's going to be hurt and have to miss time, but you do like at least that he did participate in the preseason. He was out here today. There were some more like Oklahoma drills pretty much where you didn't start on your back and stand up, but where you had ball carriers and guys trying to tackle. He did participate in that. So just at least getting eased in versus not participating at all, which really scares you, because then, even still losing some reps in team drills, you'd like to see Tyquan Thornton developing that chemistry, but he seems like someone they do very much want to be a starter at that X position, so nice to see him at least on the field and getting some work in.
Patriots have one more practice on Monday before welcoming the Philadelphia Eagles to town for a joint practice on Tuesday before their second preseason game on Thursday. Make sure to keep it here with us at Patriots Press Pass for all of your Patriots news and notes, and check out our written work at CLNSmedia.com.
Make sure to subscribe to Patriots Press Pass for all your Patriots news and updates on YouTube, and for all our written work, make sure you check out CLNSmedia.com.